Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 324. It's a special recording because some of us will be at too many games. It's a bit all over the place this weekend, but managed to get a couple people together here so we can do a pre-record, have something up for you guys Saturday night. Let me go over here to MVG joining us tonight.
Hello. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on, John, as always.
And then we have RGT85 Sean that you may we're still waiting. We're coming up on like the cliffhanger ending here. If you'll see him walking around at too many games today, we'll see.
The host of Game and Talk.
Game and Talk. I heard you got to the end and you were like, "Is this game? It's Game and Watch or Game and Talk?"
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of forgot.
That was good. It was a first episode. You gotta get in the groove and get it all worked out, right? That's how it starts. That's fine. It was still an enjoyable listen, right? It was still fun. Let's see. What are we talking about today? I guess the big thing is going to be the direct because there was a lot of stuff to go over there, and then we have some questions to take a look at in Discord and all of that as well. So I guess the direct is what we can get started with here. Let's see. It was roughly 40 minutes long, right? It was pretty quick, I would say, pacing wise. We went through it. I mean, it was just on to the next one. They had a couple of segments here and there, but nothing that took up too much time. Before we go, I guess, line by line and only stop on things, I guess, that we want to really discuss, what was everyone's just immediate impression on what we saw here with this direct?
Above average.
Above average.
It was great for me.
It was great for you.
Well. I was happy with it.
Wow.
It started out a little slow, but it picked up like very quickly, I felt like.
Okay. It was definitely one that, as you mentioned, kind of picked up as we went along. I think in the beginning it felt slower, I guess. I mean, they were going through stuff we already knew about. I mean,
they started with Pokemon DLC. It's like, bro, you should be talking about patches. You should be talking about anything but DLC for this, I wasn't a big fan of that starting out the show.
Yeah, that's weird because usually you don't see Pokemon at these things, but it was there. So that makes me wonder if there's just not going to be any kind of like Pokemon event, a Pokemon direct of some kind of presentation.
Seems that way.
Darn shame.
Darn shame. Oh man, why you don't want any kind of Pokemon presents, Sean?
No, you need to fix what you've already ruined.
Hey, that patch is coming.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That patch is coming. Gosh.
So is Christmas.
Oh, look at that. All right. Well, let's go line by line. They did start with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC. Part 1, Part 2, there's Teal Mask, Indigo Disc, Fall and Winter, all of that releasing. I played Scarlet and Violet, have not had the feeling of going back to it, and I don't know if the DLC is going to pull me back in or anything. I'm still waiting for that patch. That's definitely going to happen.
Will the patch pull you back in?
I mean, I'll be curious. It'll pull me back in out of curiosity. It'll either be the patch or their next-gen system where they port the... I don't know, what would they call Scarlet and Violet Deluxe or something? That'll pull me back in where it runs at a stable 30 frames.
Call it like 2003 edition.
Oh gosh. Well, then we had Sonic Superstars, 12 new zones, yes. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, local co-op up to 4 players, fall 2023. Still no release date for it.
I bet they'll do it while we're filming this, but there's an event tomorrow for Sonic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they'll probably announce it there. Game
looks good, by the way. I mean, I know we've already talked about it, but I'm on the Switch version. I may even get the PS5 version as well.
Yeah, it the more they've shown it, the better it looks, and we've seen people have hands-on time with it, and everyone seems to have good opinions for it. Sounds like a more modernized classic Sonic. So I like what I've seen, but it's Sonic's still one of those games where it's very momentum based, so you need to get it in your hands to see if it's something you like, because they have to be able to hit that movement just right in terms of the feeling.
Right.
So we'll see with that. Palia, free to play adventure sim. farming online
is this
game.
the cozy game? Is this the cozy game
Dude,
section?
With the Fortnite aesthetic.
It came up and said cozy, and I'm like, man, Sean's probably like punching air in front of his screen right now. And he saw
I was half asleep, and that was not waking me up.
cozy game. It's a farming online game that's holiday 2023. We'll see how long it lasts. I guess that's always what people say when they see these free to play games pop up.
I think it has a better chance than the pigeon one that we'll talk about.
The pigeon one.
That pigeon one's dead on arrival.
Persona 5 Tactica. We already heard a bit about this one, but they showed off like the fusion system for Personas. Looks like it's going to use a lot of the battle terms and mechanics. We have one more all out, and it's November 17th. You on this, Sean?
No, I mean it would have a better chance because I like strategy RPGs, but no, I'm not on that. I can't get into the whole Persona thing, and I was shocked that there was no Persona 3 remake at this event. I was told by credible sources that this was a confirmed thing.
Well, if you had listened to the Nate the Hate predictions episode beforehand,
that predictions
Nate
episode
suggested that the advertisements over in Japan did not include Switch, so he was very convinced that it wasn't going to be announced for Switch, and he was correct.
Yeah,
he called it.
People told me it was going to 100%.
Then we had Myth Force, which first-person roguelite, has that Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic to it.
I kind of liked it.
There's something about that game that I'm interested in. I may check it out.
It looks like a He-Man. It looks like if He-Man was a fucking...
Here's the big twist. It's from Aspire. Interesting.
They need a win. They need a win, so hopefully this game is good.
Yeah, drop in, drop out, online co-op and everything.
Because they sure... Have they ever really had a win? Let me look at their games.
Probably one of their I feel like one of their Star Wars remasters was like fine. Like people were excited and it worked fine. Like didn't have any hiccups like we've seen with Knights of the Old Republic 2. That's ugly. That's looking bad right now with them basically selling it on that downloadable content that they then canceled. So maybe Pod Racer? People like Pod Racer.
I mean,
I wouldn't call that a win.
Like I'm looking at their games and it's like it's all old stuff.
Yeah, you're trying to find like a new game or something. Maybe this is it. Maybe
they did that the RWBY game. I think people like that. Okay. So
Splatoon 3 Splatfest, vanilla, strawberry, or mint chip.
Could have been a Twitter drop.
Yeah, it should have been a Twitter. At this point, I was like, "Oh man, this sucks." Like,
well, yeah, and I predicted that we were going to get some Splatoon 3. I said they were going to show off that side order DLC that they were talking about last time, but I mean, this is.
I'm going with strawberry. I'm not going to play it, but I'm just going with strawberry. But
yeah, same.
Pokemon, Sonic, Palia, Persona 5 Tactica, Myth Force, Splatoon 3. So I kind of get it, Sean, because right there, that was like 8 or 9 minutes in, and those were the titles they had shown, and it was like, ooh, okay, this is
like, yeah, it felt like there wasn't anything to show at this event.
Detective Pikachu Returns.
That game looks horrible.
Oh man,
that's the ugliest looking game I've ever seen.
People are pretty excited for this.
Because Pokemon fans are a cult.
Oh no.
They are. They're a cult, and it's not a bad. I'm a Sonic cultist. You know, I play all the Sonic games, no matter if they're good or bad. But that game looks like the graphics look absolutely. It looks like a PS2 game, like Nate was saying on our show.
It's kind of like geared towards like a younger audience who probably won't mind as much.
So kids should have bottom of the barrel crap. When we were kids, we had the best.
Yeah, it's true.
Did we?
Yes. We were constantly a part of the evolution of video games. Kids today, they're not a part of evolution of anything. It's a de-evolution.
It's a what? It's then we had
going from Mario World to Mario 64. Let's go.
Yeah, that was huge, dude.
Things did pick up though. Super Mario RPG.
I've never played it.
I have, and I was very excited about this announcement. I mean, there were rumors that this there were rumors that it was going to be either this or Chrono Trigger. Zippo said Chrono Trigger, and
they guessed wrong. They flipped and got tails instead of heads, apparently.
But dude, this game looks really good. Super Mario RPG is not a long game. Like I think it's only about 15 to 20 hours to beat. It's not really that. It's not big, sprawling RPG, but this game looks really cool. I love the way that they've upgraded it, they've enhanced it, but they haven't taken away from the original source material. It's still got that isometric look about it. It's still got that, it's just got that aesthetic
like
about it.
Still with the movement, which is interesting.
Yep.
They kept that. Yeah. So I love the way it looks. I thought that was a really cool reveal where it had Peach in the intro and then it flashed to the new visuals, and I think it looks really good.
Looks great.
No, it looks great.
Interesting that you haven't played it yet, Sean. I was a little surprised hearing that in your video. I'm like, he's never played Super Mario RPG before.
Yeah, I've never played it.
It's been available on the Wii, the Wii U, the Super Nintendo Classic even recently had it.
Yeah, I mean I'm the emulation king as well. But no, I never got around to it. And so seeing this was very exciting for me because I'll be going in completely blind.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that came that ended up in Paper Mario and then Thousand Year Door came from this game, like the active battle time stuff. And interesting. Okay. All right. It looks like they changed a few things up too, because in the battle menu you can see there's like a percentage on the left, and it appears there are different buffs and perks that are happening as the battle's going on. So it seems like they're going to explain some other stuff to us maybe as we get closer through Twitter or something there. I'm trying to figure out, because this was back in the day collaboration between Nintendo and Square. I haven't seen any information as of this recording who's doing it.
I saw a little fine print thing that said Nintendo/Square down the bottom, but I don't know if that is. I guess I don't know if that is kind of relaying to the original game or this one, but I kind of just got the feeling it was Nintendo and Square working on this together again.
Okay, just co-developing it again. All right, I didn't know if it was just like Square will take the reins and you guys just approve art and stuff, but
maybe they'll give it to Enix. Enix can do it.
That's that was a Square Soft game back in the day, right? Interesting.
It was.
Yeah. Oh. Well, November 17th, that's a game that got announced and it's out in less than 5 months. So I do appreciate that too. They went into kind of a rapid fire for a Princess Peach game and then Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for Switch. That's in development.
Awesome. Very cool.
It's
very good.
It's interesting they just told us that it's in development, but neither of them are out till next year, because those feel like announcements they could have just waited until the fall direct or later on this year, or even to kick off next year with an announcement for it. That seemed a little out of place in a direct full of, hey, these things are out in 5 months.
I mean, it was. Go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for it, obviously. The deeper you go into this direct, it becomes clear why that is.
Interesting. You think we're starting to move generations soon? Some things happen in the background.
Well, I mean, that's a conversation for the end of this.
Okay.
Show,
that'll work.
Because it goes super in depth.
I saw this next announcement. I was like, you know what? Sean probably is through the roof right now. Batman Arkham Trilogy, Asylum, Night City.
Happy.
It's all here. All of it. I was a little surprised on Night. I thought when they did it, we would just see Asylum and City, and they might break them up where you can buy them separately, all digital and stuff. But all DLC, fall 2023, another game that's out in less than half a year. And these are awesome games. I recommend anyone who has not played them, because I understand there is still that younger generation that's come up and the Switch is their first system. I would buy this collection immediately and play through all of it. It's very good.
I'm double dipping, and I will say that
this is like, dude, I bought these games so many times. But yeah,
I just hope the performance is good. I think it's going to be a good game. It feels like this game has been in the works for a long time, so I'm hoping that everything is going to be buttoned up and good when it comes out.
Asylum and City, I'm confident should be fine, but Night is the one that I'm really curious about. I want to know what's going on there with that one.
Well, I mean, if you had to be honest, that's the weakest out of those 3 games anyway, so because of I'd agree with that. But I mean, from a graphical perspective, yes, it's a lot more taxing. It's a lot more taxing.
I played Asylum I think a couple months ago. I think I fired it up on the Steam Deck at one point. That game still holds up. It's still a good game.
Looks amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, like all of them are.
But like Asylum was 2008, I think. That was so long ago, and it still holds up. I mean, dude, it's wild to think that game's like almost 15 years old. But it still holds up. It's still very good. Next up, we had Gloomhaven. September 18th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just Dance 2024. No Wii version.
This was the come down period.
October 24th. Silent Hope, action RPG. You explore the abyss, defeating enemies. You build up your base, dive deeper, rinse, repeat. October. Okay. We're just filling up October, by the way. I'm noticing this with a lot of these announcements. Like October, there is a span in that month of 3 weeks. I feel like it's 15 releases. It's something crazy.
No, yeah, it is.
Fae Farm. I don't know if they said cozy for this one. They might
I think
have.
they did. Well,
they?
I mean, it's farming, so
Another farming game. Okay, September 8th. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. First Hot Wheels Unleashed was pretty fun. This is just the second one, October 19th. Manic Mechanics, July 13th.
Oh, that busy work game where you gotta, that game gave me anxiety just looking at it. I was like, I can't play this game. So many things to figure out at the same time.
Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It's the second DLC.
the final DLC.
Yeah, it's out now. Well, it's out now, and then they have a demo as well that's already available. So, Dragon Quest Monsters: Dark Prince.
Now we're coming back to reality.
It was pretty cool to see this return because I remember playing this on the DS, and it was weird back then. I was like, I feel like this is a better Pokemon game. It's kind of how I felt. Like I feel like they tackled the formula better, but it has been a long time since I've played this formula from Dragon Quest. So I'm interested. I think I will check this. And it's doing that thing where they're going to make it in just within 2023's release, December 1st. So this is our December game.
Yes. No, that it looks great. And you know, it's what Pokemon fans should be expecting from Pokemon, but
Didn't we have back in the day on DS, weren't there two versions? It was like Dragon Quest Monsters Joker and then something else.
I think there was two games.
Yeah, so I mean two versions of two games. I didn't know if they did the Pokemon formula or they're just two games. I remember seeing both of them on the shelf and I ended up picking one of them back in the day.
Let's see here. Come on, give me a list. So there was Game Boy. Okay, so there was a Game Boy one for Game Boy Color, and then another Game Boy Color game, and then okay, so Dragon Quest Monsters Joker for the DS, and then they did Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2.
Okay, I had Joker, the first one then. All right. Pikmin 4 got a nice little deep dive, and man, I really wish I cared about Pikmin because the game does look good. It looks like it's everything Pikmin fans wanted and then more. It also has that underground area, which the first 3 had like caves, or first 2 of them had caves. And it was just funny because I saw underground area and I immediately, because of how much time was spent in Tears of the Kingdom, I immediately thought of the depths for that. But split screen mode, you upgrade your items, and Ochi's like the dog that runs around. There's nighttime exploration for the first time. There's a demo available next week on the 28th, and the whole thing comes out July 21st. Just wish I really cared.
when that $41.99 hits it, I'll check it out.
It's also built on Unreal Engine.
Hey.
Which is interesting. This is the second game they've built on Unreal Engine. The first one was Yoshi's Crafted World, and that game was pretty blurry. So I'm curious if they learned from that and maybe got more use out of it here, or better use. It does work into what Pikmin goes for, which is a very realistic aesthetic for the backgrounds.
I was going to say, isn't it a small kind of confined space where you're playing it most of the time?
It's got like that isometric kind of view too.
So it's got, I think Unreal is a good candidate for a game like that, where it's not like this fast open world.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Pikmin fans are going to get a kick out of it. So for everyone who's looking forward to it, at least it's looking good. And then Pikmin 1 and 2 have remasters now that are currently out. They just dropped them. And it's also following that Metroid Prime Remastered formula, out now for digital. And then the physical compilation will pop up September 22nd. Those games are kind of expensive on the GameCube as well. So if you just want an easy way to pick them up and play them like that on your Switch, there you go.
Everything is expensive on the GameCube.
Yeah, but I know like Pikmin 2 was, I think, like $70 or something, $80, something crazy, like complete. So yeah, but all the Pikmin games are available on the Switch. Nintendo's been doing that a lot recently, getting all of one franchise on the Switch, so it's all available. I mean, they did with Xenoblade even, just about. They just need Chronicles X and they're complete.
They need the best one.
Yeah, but if that pops up, then you're like, wow, they really have all of Xenoblade on this platform.
I know this is a side tangent, but Xenoblade fans, this is the game you should be asking for. This is the game that would benefit the most from it. Do you not remember that you had to download texture packs and stuff for the game that were like massive file sizes on the Wii U, and it was like impossible, like you had to sacrifice other stuff? This is the game you want. The scales are amazing. I don't understand why people are not demanding this game. The music, the setting, sci-fi, it's great. God.
Thank you, Sean. And you can go ahead and keep that excitement because the next one up is Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1.
Someone told me to prepare for disappointment.
Oh, no.
It would come into the Switch. And yes, I will dig it up in the chat where you told me prepare for disappointment.
Wait, did I say that?
You did. I said I hope it's there, and you said prepare for disappointment. No, fucking awesome. They added in more stuff, which is actually very funny that they added in the NES of Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge, because Kojima had nothing to do with those games. He didn't even know that they were being ported. And then Snake's Revenge, he didn't even know that was a thing. So it's kind of Konami, I feel like, showing off their EP-ing, like, this is our franchise. And you know what? I don't care. I don't know what happened behind the scenes with those two. It's always he said, she said, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. That's business. People have a falling out. At the end of the day, you're getting these games available across a myriad of platforms. There's going to be extra content. There's the digital novel for 1 and 2. They're gonna have like in-game strategy guides and stuff, and like artwork and stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait for this. I have already hit up Konami and I'm like, hi, how are you doing?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, Metal Gear 2, the NES versions, all included graphical novel strategy guides, October 24th.
VR missions for Metal Gear Solid 1. I am curious though, because there were some changes done to Metal Gear Solid from Metal Gear Solid to Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them I feel was done because when you would take the sedative medicine to snipe, in the original game it was called diazepam, which is an actual drug, and then they changed it to pentazamine. And then Mei Ling's voice, because Mei Ling has a different voice actress in Twin Snakes. Yeah. It's not as good in my opinion, because she doesn't say the red dot in the middle is you, Snake, and like she says it like more white, and I don't like it.
You think they'll just use the old lines that they have laying around? Because they're doing that with Metal Gear Solid 3.
I don't know what they're gonna do. That's the thing. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Interesting.
Okay, we in reality we already know what to expect with 2 and 3. It's the HD remaster editions that have been out forever. Metal Gear Solid 1 hasn't had a re-release besides GOG, and like that version was kind of different anyways. So like that's actually the one I'm looking forward to seeing the most, is like, well, what is this? Like, is this just a rip of the PS1 version? If so, that's great. Will there be some sort of way to enhance visuals? Like, are they going to do any, texture filters or anything like that? Or is it going to be your standard composite video quality for that game? You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest wild card to me. That's the one I'm probably the most excited to see what they do.
I agree. Initially, when you look at it, and to be fair, we've only seen about 10 seconds of the game. It looks like it's just running a PS1 emulator, but we got a taste of the file sizes. Like Konami kind of disclosed that info, and I think the first game is like 4.8 gig.
Oh,
right. So am I right?
I think it's 4.8 gigs. I'll look it up real quick, but I think it's 4.8 gigs with Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 included, the MSX games. Let me see. Hold on.
But even that, right? Like, I guess what I'm saying is
the optimization on these is fucking horrible. Like,
Yeah.
Snake Eater's 12 gigs. That's almost as big as Tears of the Kingdom. Like, what?
Well, they probably didn't have to compress the audio or anything. I'm sure there's a lot of lines.
What I'm saying is, I am wondering if it's more of a port than emulation, because if you're getting to like 4 gigs, 4.6 gigs, whatever, that's not Because the ISOs like to download them, what, 1 gig tops? There's 2 discs, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
what,
2 discs.
1.4 gig or 1.5 gig. So I think there's enhancements that have been done here, but we'll have to just wait and see when the game comes out.
That'll be
So
interesting.
let me see here. So it's 3.4 gigs without Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2.
Okay.
So Metal Gear Solid. Well, no, the original Metal Gear Solid, because weren't the PlayStation discs only 700 megabytes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 1.4
At
gig,
peak.
right?
Yeah, so that's 1 gig total. That's we're
We're 3 times the
Over-
size.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
about, yeah. Huh.
So I'm wondering if they have enhanced the game in some way. I'd really like it if they did, and it's not emulation, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It also looks like there's 30 gigabytes of video that you download for the Switch if you want it all. So it's,
Yeah.
and
I'm downloading everything.
yeah,
I'm getting
that
well,
makes
it's the graphic novel stuff.
that makes me think though that, for example, so if you look, it's not on the PS4 or the Xbox One, and that seems like a weird thing not to just throw it on there. But maybe in this case, because the Xbox One, for example, has access to the HD collection, so it plays Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 fine. Like, you can play through that. But it makes me think that they're using the UHD Blu-rays and just putting everything on it, because it's like probably 60 or 70 gigabytes. So that does open the door, as leaks have kind of shown on their website, for Metal Gear Solid 4 to be in the next one.
That'll be insane. It's rumored that it's 4, 5, and Peace Walker, which in reality you'll probably have Acid on there.
I think so,
and
too.
maybe
Yeah.
Portable Ops as well, because those aren't the biggest games in the world. But yeah, that would be insanity.
That's
absolute.
Yeah. Easy
That's
buy
absolute.
day one. Yep.
Well, I mean, this isn't. I'm probably triple dipping. On this. You got to look, man. You got to show Konami like, hey,
Yeah.
we still want. And look, you need someone to write the stories. I know a guy. That man is me. I will write the stories. Okay, we're gonna pretend that 5 didn't happen, and we're gonna pick up where 4 ended.
Okay. That I will ask you this though: if Konami reveals that they are indeed going back and porting Metal Gear Solid 4 up to new platforms and all of this, and putting that time and effort and work in, and then we hear about how they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, they have Silent Hill reviving. I mean, is the confidence back with Konami then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, after we see releases and
Sure.
because I mean, this could come out and be a broken nightmare.
Mhm.
I mean, there's
Yeah,
always a
absolutely could.
chance of that.
Yep.
You obviously got to see more of Triangle, and you got to see
Triangle.
Silent Hill too. Like
Yeah.
you got to see more of these.
You know,
Things. The announcements are appealing. The announcements are setting a good tone. It's following up on that tone. Like, I could sit here and say, I'm gonna give everyone $1 million. And everyone gets excited, but then it's $1 million pesos, and
It'd be sick is if the logos start popping up for the companies involved for these different ports or anything, and then M2 pops up as you're going through it. That'd be good. Yeah. So I'm hoping Konami put the time and effort into these, but they've been rumored for a while, so it feels like it's not something they just randomly did last night or something. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, people think those pachinko machines, like pachinko stuff, if you look at it, like, it's been going down a lot.
Yeah.
And
I think the pandemic
Konami.
stuff kind of hurt them with that. Yeah, you're right.
Look, we got one good thing coming out of the pandemic.
We got Konami coming back to the video game market, home market. So, Vampire Survivors, 4-player local co-op, August 17th. This is a very popular game, by the way, on Steam and on Xbox. So this,
Nate loves that game, I think.
it's a big get for Nintendo to have it on the Switch, and I think the developer is like one person for the game. Probably is ecstatic at how this is done, and now it's going to a platform with 125 million people that could potentially buy it. So, Headbangers Rhythm Royale.
Oh, that poor game.
October 31st. It does look weird. I don't really know what was going on, but
Like, walk me through this, MVG. What is the thought process going? Like, do they think that, hey, this is going to be the next Fall Guys or Fortnite? Like, this is going to be with pigeons?
Yes. I think
People don't like pigeons, though.
people don't. I think that I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there's just a lot of yes men that are saying this is going to be awesome. This is going to be so awesome, but I think there's just a disconnect there with what actually is going to be awesome or not. But I don't know, man. I was pretty annoyed at that one when they showed it. I should have just dropped it on Twitter.
Let's see. Penny's Big Breakdown. This is a 3D platforming adventure game from the team behind Sonic Mania.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Look good.
I thought initially, I'm like, as I'm watching, I was like, is this a new Ristar? Is this a new Tempo? Like, it definitely had a very Sega color palette to it.
It reminded me of McDonald Land, of anything. Like,
Yeah.
as far as the color palettes and stuff.
Okay. Early
Had that-
2024.
That treasure vibe to it. I was into it.
All right. Well, we'll be checking that one out next year. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 5 DLC, new course, Squeaky Clean Sprint, PD Piranha, Wiggler, Comic. They're all being added as new characters. Summer 2023.
Finally.
The live service game keeps going.
Just to remind people that Mario Kart's still a thing.
Want to
Right.
remind everyone that the Famitsu sales charts this past week, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was number 2. Unstoppable.
But how many did it sell?
Like 6,000.
Okay.
But, I mean, come on. Should it be selling 6,000 copies this far in a week? No. It's ridiculous. Hey, looking forward to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Plus for next gen. It's going to be great. Let's see. Star Ocean, the Second Story R remake. This is
Gorgeous.
a full remake of Star Ocean, the Second Story that's regarded by many as the best game in the franchise. This was from the PS1. Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway, Sean, are the visuals. Like, immediately, it's like, it has almost that HD2D look, but clearly the background is not the same as other HD2D games. They're trying to go with a more clean, modern sort of backdrop. But the characters have that HD2D look for the sprites.
Yeah, well, it's HD 2D sprites on 3D back. You know, it almost what's that game? 3D dot pixel hero
3D dot
or whatever.
Yeah, 3D dot game heroes.
It almost kind of reminded me a bit of that, but obviously a bit different because it's not really pixely based. But that looks amazing. Like I am wanting to play. I played the original Star Ocean on PS1 with Pecker Dupree because he loved RPGs, and so we played that over at his house a bunch. But I never played this other game. But this looks phenomenal. A definite surprise for me.
Yeah, I like what I saw here. I'm happy that they decided to not just do what they did with First Departure R, where it was clearly just a very minimal remaster effort, but maybe it sold well enough to where they were like, oh, let's actually put some effort into this next one. Or maybe they just realized that's the best one they've made, so let's give it the full remake treatment. But I'm excited. November 2nd, another game that's out in 5 months, less than 5 months. What'd you think, MVG, when you saw this game?
I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Star Ocean fan, but I did love the aesthetic of the game. And yeah, it's got me interested. I may check it out, but November, that's also a hard sell because I'll be
A lot of stuff
playing
happening.
Super Mario RPG around the same time, I'm sure. But it got a lot of hype and a lot of people that were like, Star Ocean, whatever, it's AA, we don't care. This actually popped off quite well, so good announcement.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
people wondering, you don't have to, it's kind of like Final Fantasy technically, like you can just jump into this one, you'll be fine. Like if you kind of like the idea of sci-fi space JRPG from the PS1, like it ticks all those boxes and it's awesome. And it's more action based as opposed to turn based. So you do, and it looks like they kind of added some refinements to it from the gameplay that they showed. So I think this will actually resonate a bit better with the newer audience that we're seeing coming into gaming now, like the younger audience that not really that sold on turn-based. So this is, I think this will work out well with them. WarioWare Move It, November 3rd, another WarioWare game.
You know, they showed the stupid, the one mini game where it's, I don't know what it's called, like the slide from Mario 64.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that was the only thing I took away. Those games were fun. Like Nintendo is kind of weird because those games were fun when they were like $30.
Oh, they're
when
like
they were
50 now.
when they were on the Game Boy Advance, when they were on the DS, they were fun then because you were paying $30, $40 max on it. Now we're talking like 50. It's like, I don't know about that.
A little up there in pricing.
And then of course, because they sell only a handful of copies of them physically, they end up getting expensive on the secondary market. I don't know. I back in the day they were super cool when they were on handhelds, but like I just don't feel like it translates. Like, where the hell is a Wario Land game? Like, do you know how much cool stuff you could do with that? You haven't done one in forever. What was it? Wario Land Shake It on the Wii? Good game. I don't hate it.
Wario World, I wouldn't mind seeing a follow-up to that, like a 3D Wario game. That'd be kind of cool too.
Like, the possibilities are endless, but they never seem to explore it. They're just like, no, we'll put them in a mini game compilation. It's like, okay.
It is kind of weird that they allegedly told Ubisoft that might be a good idea to hold their game off until next gen, because it's like you have too many of the same on one platform. Then we just get another WarioWare immediately.
Well, because it'll sell.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it'll sell. You gotta imagine it's not very expensive to make.
No, yeah, now by that November 3rd though. Sorry, WarioWare. Star Ocean's out the day before. I'll be busy. Nintendo Live 2023 spot. Then Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, new amiibos. Then they said thank you for buying it. Okay. And then the big closeout was Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
They did it.
That 2D Mario game. 2D Mario game in effect here. And you know what? I like it. I think it looks good. I think it looks very good.
Very good.
I mean, I've been extremely skeptical of a new 2D Mario game in literally every video, but I feel like they did enough to. This is something we kind of brought up on the more popular game and talk. I almost said game and play.
You're gonna say game and watch.
I almost said game and play. It looks like the Mario sprite that they're using in that game. Obviously, it's different. It almost looks like the Super Mario RPG one. If you watch a Super Mario RPG trailer and look at Mario and you look at the Mario they're using in this game, it looks very, very similar. But it's literally Mario's drug-fueled trip, and like it looks really cool. It looks very creative. It has that pizzazz that a lot of the 2D Mario games, when they got in that new Super Mario Brothers style, they just became so formulaic and boring. Like, I don't care what anyone says, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe is a boring game and it shouldn't exist. There's no reason for, like, I get it. Oh, people didn't buy the Wii U, but it's like, good God, like there's nothing to it. They're vanilla. There's no taste to it. But this game looks phenomenal day one.
Yeah, it looks like
I agree.
It looks like you pick up Wonder Flowers, and that's where just all kinds of madness takes place when it happened. When you touch it, like they had Mario stretching out to like the size of the screen, and all kinds of stuff. Pipes are crawling along like snakes. It looks cool. It looks pretty wacky with that.
I also want to kind of reiterate that I love the fact that this has a new aesthetic to the game. They just didn't asset flip, previous 2D iterations, or they didn't just look at Mario Maker and say, oh, we'll just take stuff from here and put a game together. I mean, this looks like a really, really good Mario game, a 2D Mario game. I don't want to hype it up too much, but it could be one of the best ones, at least from what we've seen. So I can't wait for the game.
The animations looked good. Well, it looked fluid. Everything that was happening there. They have 4-player co-op, of course. Toad, Daisy, Peach were all shown as playable. Yoshi was there, so good stuff.
Well, Mario turned into something.
Mario turned into an elephant.
Well, besides that, he also did like the thing where it was like a rolling thing.
Oh,
in between the levels.
There's a lot. I think there's a lot of stuff they're going to do in this game with that.
Wonder
Flower.
There totally is.
Yeah.
They barely showed you anything on that. Just enough to make you interested.
I will bring this up. People were talking about this online. Some were wondering like, oh, well, there's no big games left, and then they show this, and they're still like, there's no big games left for Nintendo. Is 2D Mario considered a big game or not?
So, I mean, we're wrapping up the direct talk here. So I'm.
It is also October 20th. I will throw that in there for Super Mario Brothers Wonder, going head to head with Spider-Man 2. Go on.
But like I alluded to at the start of the show, I loved this show because there was a lot of stuff for me here. But if somebody were to walk up and say, the Switch is obviously on its way out, I'd be like, you're 100% correct. You know, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon port for 2024, a Princess Peach side game for 2024, a 2D Mario this year, another Wario game, Super Mario RPG, a remaster. Like, the writing is definitely on the wall, but the thing is, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I got Sonic the Hedgehog, Batman, Metal Gear Solid, and a new 2D Mario game all in one show, plus Super Mario RPG, which I've never played. If you would have told me at the start of the year, you know, that's what I was going to get, I'd be like, yeah, you're crazy. There's no way of that. So for me, I gave it an A. It was a great show for me. But obviously the writing is on the wall. You didn't see any huge sort of budget stuff here. Good solid games that will appeal to the fan base. The 2D Mario game will also be pretty popular with people in terms of sales, but the writing is definitely on the wall.
Yeah, I think that 2D Mario game's going to do some big numbers. Go ahead, MG.
I agree. I mean, the announcements were fantastic. I loved them as well. And someone that's old school, I mean, this direct appealed to me a lot as well. But yeah, I mean, these games, 2D Mario, Super Mario RPG, which is not the biggest RPG in the world. It's like I said, 15 to 20 hours. You can get through it. It was just a little below, you know, like these big games, and I think they're just really doing enough to see the Switch over the line, you know, to whatever comes next year or whatever you think it's going to come. But they also, you know, we have to remember that Nintendo predicted, or they said that they wanted to sell 15 million Switches this year or this fiscal. And I don't believe that number has been revised, right? Like, I think that's still the number.
Right.
So having these games come in will really help with that, I think. And I think they're really pushing to, you know, to make the Switch sales very good for this fiscal. And I think they'll get there. I think they have enough meat on the bone to kind of see the generation out. And these are really good announcements, no doubt.
Yeah, I think 2D Mario is going to help out a lot. That coming off the Mario movie and the hype that brought in, and probably a lot of people who, I don't say forgot about Mario, but maybe fell out of games, and all of a sudden they see the Mario movie with their kids, and they're like, yeah, I kind of want to play a Mario game. I mean, there you go. They might have to pick up a Switch for that.
Fucking drop that's the Switch standard price. Keep the OLED at what you want. Drop the other. Shave $50 off of it. Make it $250. Maybe throw in a digital game. You'll easily meet your mark there this holiday season.
I think having at least a pack-in game ready to go, like a bundle that's just a holiday bundle, they used to do that a lot back in the day, especially with the Wii U, but they were trying hard to sell those. I don't think that'd be fun to have that. They did like the pick your own game bundle for a little bit. I think that was over Black Friday or Mario Day or something. That having that for holiday in the 7th year or so of the Switch, I think would be a good idea. OJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
OJ's here.
Sorry about I had some painters coming over, so.
Good to have OJ here. We went through the direct line by line, and we were just kind of reflecting on it before we did questions from the Discord and all of this. What'd you think of the direct though?
It's solid. Thought it was like it was good. I think I gave it like a B. Said B minus.
Oh, Sean gave it an A.
I gave it a B just because if there was something else like from the core line, like let's say like Metroid or like Kid Icarus or F-Zero or Star Fox, something from that, I think I would have given it an A. To me, it's a solid B. Heavy on the Mario, which is okay. Mario's great. But yeah, just maybe one more thing for me would have been pushed into the A territory. Maybe something from Monolith Soft or Fire Emblem, something like that. Definitely would have put it in the A category, but I can understand why people gave it an A. Like, there's a lot of people that were, I know Josie's not here, but I watched her videos. She was like, "This is like the best direct ever." You know. So there's depending on what you like.
Yeah, I had like a B plus, but I will agree if they had Metroid Prime 4 close it out, yeah, that'd been an A then. Yeah. They would have had that one big heavy hitter.
Yeah, absolutely. But I like the 2D Mario game. That looks like such a good departure from New Super Mario Bros. After, you know, from 2006 all the way to this point. It's been, well, Mario Maker if you count that, but this game's gonna do some pretty good numbers.
It's gonna do some numbers.
I mean, we're also under the assumption that there's probably going to be some sort of event in September, so who knows, you know, what's going to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
they could
Absolutely.
they could potentially slot. I think you're going to start to see more, because now I almost feel like there's an expectation for a stealth GameCube title drop. That's, I mean, once is a coincidence. Twice, you start to notice a pattern. You
It's a
know,
precedent.
F-Zero gets dropped in.
Yeah, twice there's a precedent,
Interesting.
and then we kind of expect more now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe F-Zero GX.
absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Okay, I know you guys are gonna get into Discord questions, but goodness gracious, that Super Mario RPG drop. I lost my voice.
Is that where it
yesterday,
went? Because
so-
of Mario RPG took you out?
Yeah.
I watched your video, OJ. You were going off. It was awesome.
Oh my god, that Super Mario RPG. I mean, I know this game like the back of my hand. I mean, I don't know how much. I know you guys have all played and beat it, but I think I've beat this game.
Hold on. Ready? Watch this. Sean, what you think of Mario RPG?
I'm excited because I've never played it.
Oh my god!
right.
See, this is why people say you're not an RPG fan, bro. This is why people say you don't like RPGs. How you not play Super Mario RPG?
I did not have a Super Nintendo growing up, so I was playing Phantasy Star, Landstalker, and
That's
stuff
not
like
an
that on the
excuse.
Genesis.
It's on the Wii Virtual
Shining
Console, bro.
Force.
Right, but
It's on the Wii It's on
I
the
was
and it's
playing
Super Nintendo
your-
Classic. That's not an excuse.
I was playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, the superior Xenoblade Chronicles during that time frame.
But what are you talking about?
On the Wii, what was I playing?
Who remembers that?
Yeah, I really.
Punch-Out?
The Tales game on there was pretty good.
Boom
Those are
Blast.
high schoolers. Why would you want to play that?
You can't use my joke. I don't know, Lloyd. the Tales people are old people.
They're high schoolers.
They're
Lloyd
three-
Irving, 17.
They're 3,000-year-old
You,
dragons.
you start out in class, by the way.
That's college. It was a college class.
It's a
Kids, what? There's a kid. There's a kid mage. No, it's all good. So yeah, Super Mario RPG. I beat this game like 50 times. I love this game. It looks, I don't know if you guys talk about, it looks like they're adding some content. I thought it's a faithful remake, but there's some certain scenes in there, and there's certain things that are not in the original game. At least maybe added cutscenes or something. So there's definitely going to be, it's a faithful remake, but it's also, there's some extra stuff in there. I want to know what they do with that one certain thing that's tied to another Square Enix franchise. I want to know what they do with that battle. That'd be
Interesting.
I guess my last question now is, because the Metroid Prime 4 was not here, should we just assume at this point, because a lot of us figure that Nintendo will probably start talking about their next gen system in 2024? Is it time to assume that this is a cross-gen game?
Yeah, you still got September.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
I think so.
Honestly.
I mean, I've said that I think that it could be. I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
I kind of
It
think so
could be.
too. You know what? I'd prefer them to not even talk about Metroid Prime 4 this year, just to confirm that it's probably a cross-gen game. I'd rather Retro focus on that and have a really cool title ready to go for the current Switch, for people who probably felt like they'd have already played and beaten it by now, and then the newer technology that we get that we assume is going to be more capable, clearly, because it's like,
The 2016 chip is what they're going to use. This
okay.
time.
they can't really go backwards technically. I mean, I guess they could, but it'd be very, very difficult for them to go backwards. So I would like to see Retro just free reign, do what you want with this new hardware, go crazy. So that'd be cool. But I mean, I guess we would assume the next time would be September at the earliest that we would get a direct. October, who knows? Or maybe we just get a trailer drop for the next platform and we're off to the races for next year. So we'll see. But I like the direct. It felt like a very Nintendo direct. And that's what you expect. So
What does that even mean?
there's a lot of Mario, basically.
Yeah.
Their mascots, their
Mario.
main IPs, the mascots there. It was all, I mean, how many times did you see Mario, Luigi, and Peach in this trailer? Pretty much constantly.
I'm interested in that Princess Peach game too. I want to know, is that like a Super Princess Peach like sequel?
I feel like
or
I
is
remember
it
that
like
on the
a-
DS, but I don't think
Yeah,
I
it's
played it
it's
much.
a DS game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's not anything super crazy. Jordan really likes it though.
Okay. Let's see. Let me go to some of these Discord questions here. Evan mentioned, and then I had kind of copy and pasted here. Let's see. This is from Drew, who says, after some effort, I finally got my hands on an Analog Pocket, and it's incredible. John, MVG, have you revisited it since the 1.1 update? Also, any hidden gem GBA games? Sean is motioning, I guess, here. What's wrong, Sean?
But why wasn't I included? I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave you one.
I bought one.
Have you revisited it since the 1.1 update?
No.
Okay.
I haven't.
I've still played it time to time because I have one of those flashcards where you can just put your games on it. It makes it easier rather than pop them in and out over and over again. Any hidden gem GBA games? Hidden gem GBA games. Sean says a lot. All right, Sean, what you got?
There's dogs in MVG's background.
I'm gonna say, if you want kind of an interesting look, especially on the Analog Pocket, with like with like the 3D effect that the system can do, dude, Simpsons Road Rage is actually kind of interesting to play.
Iridion 3D is pretty good too.
I like seeing what the Game Boy Advance could do at that time with 3D because they did some weird stuff to try to make it happen, and those kind of games are fun hidden gem like tech demo things. And Simpsons
X versus Sever. There was a Duke Nukem on there too.
Okay. Yeah, I like those. Those are fun. Just to see how. I mean, it looks terrible technically, but that's kind of cool. Just see. Josh says, question for Spawn: are you going to do an upgrade video for the Steam Deck? Was wanting to let you know about the monoblock cooling accessory. If you did, since I believe if it works and thermals are good, would be biggest upgrade. Yeah, I have some Steam Deck videos coming up. I even got the new shell, I believe, that I was going to do that replaces the front, make it atomic purple. Let's see. V says, for those who have played it, would Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions hold up today? I have not played Shattered Dimensions in a long time, and I even rented it back then, I think on the PS3. And that feels like that was 10 years ago?
It would not hold up. It would be very bad compared to the Insomniac Spider-Man games. People would... I mean, you could, but... the Spider-Man games of today are just way better. I don't think it would hold up.
This one, Zoob asked questions for Max and Jordan if they're here, so I guess we'll have to save that for next week.
YouTube.com. Oh.
Toxic says, can't remember if you guys talked about it last cast, but what's everyone's most anticipated game for this year / next year that has not come out yet? This
Metal
year,
Gear
next
Solid
year.
Master Collection Volume
That's
1.
it right there, huh? That's the one.
All I need.
That's the
Probably
one.
Starfield for me. I got to see Starfield.
I
See what
feel
the
like
hype's all about.
I feel like right now it's Starfield because everything on Microsoft's side is kind of building up to this. They just raised prices for Game Pass and stuff, and it's like, oh well, the next release up is Starfield, the big one. So I feel like at this time, with what's behind us and what's in front of us now, with even Final Fantasy 16 now out, yeah, it's probably Starfield.
Yeah, I would have said Starfield, and then Nintendo brought my boy Gino back. So,
there you go.
goodness gracious, I'm
Super
excited
Mario
for
RPG.
Super Mario RPG. But yeah, Starfield. If in terms of new games, I'd probably say Starfield. But when it comes to Starfield and the 2D Mario,
that's what next
those are
for
probably
next year.
Um,
I don't know. I
Metroid?
have to look at what
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
I have to look at what 2024 is up because 2023 just keeps going.
Well, most games aren't. There's not a lot of games that
Yeah.
are like dated for next year right now.
2023 just keeps going though, man.
yeah, a lot of games in 2023.
Let's see. Dan asks, is Tears of the Kingdom no longer the Switch's swan song?
It never was.
Evidently not.
Never was. I pushed back on that when I first heard it. People said I was damage control and all sorts of stuff in the comments, but I'm like, no, they don't know. Those articles they didn't know. And you know, there's a little bit of pushback saying, oh well, no, those aren't. Now 2D Mario's not a big deal. You didn't know about the
swan song.
2D Mario
What
game.
would that mean exactly? The swan song? Like, is Nintendo going to do another $70 game?
Like they meant like big system seller or big type of game. You know, like
Big budget.
Yeah, I mean, big budget, big game. I mean, it's subjective. We don't even know the budgets of any.
Well,
of these
is
games.
is a full price game on the Switch now $70 because Tears of the Kingdom hit that price? Like, do we consider that a full price game?
No, because everything else is 60.
Well, Skyrim was 70 as well, the new one they did, and Mortal Kombat 70 as well.
That's true, but there's still big new games coming out that are 60 though.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out where we're sitting with Swan Song. If 70 is like, this is the last Swan Song, it's the big budget $70 game.
I don't know. That's just we just got $70 games, so I don't know if that is all of a sudden equated to. That means it's like tying like the price to Swan Song. I don't know. To me, Swan Song means like, all right, this is the final big game that we're getting. There's no other big titles. That's what Swan Song means to me.
Yeah, but can you really like? I don't know. I could see why people would still say it.
Well, that's also assuming. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is viewed by many people as like, you know, a big budget game, probably because of the. I mean, it's been in development forever. They've restarted once. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what they would count at like explosive sales out of the gate, because 2D Mario is going to do some stupid numbers. I assume.
I also think it's so hard to say, because like, remember when Ghost of Tsushima came out for the PS4? We were like, this is the last PS4 first party exclusive, because that's what Sony told us at the time, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they just dropped Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon.
That's a
and
good
like,
point. Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know.
We're going to see a cross-gen period for the Switch too, where they'll probably try to get some of these games that are on the next platform on the Switch. I mean, they're not going to, I don't want to say they're going to look the best or anything, but they'll try to probably make it happen. Who knows? The next 3D Mario game, they might try to fit on this current Switch. So it's hard to say, but 2D Mario is going to, that's a big seller. So I don't know. I feel like you can't really look at Zelda. I mean, will there be something on the level of Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be anything, because that took them 6 years to make. I don't know if there's going to be anything on that level, but in comparison to what people were saying with the article, I don't think like a brand new 2D Mario game, something like that, was considered when people were thinking, oh, it's the Swan Song. I don't think people were like, oh, well, yeah, we'll get a 2D Mario game, unless it was like new Super Mario Bros, some type of extension to whatever, but like a brand new one with new themes and all that. Like, I don't think people.
Well, I saw I think I saw the people who had done that reporting. I think it was Games Industry, and I feel like they were trying to explain it, and it still was like, it was so hard to try to tell what they were trying to get at, because sales wise 2D Mario is going to do well, but they were saying that it's going to be something that sells over time and will arrive at a really big number and not do, I don't know, 5 million out of the gate or 10 million like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom did. They were trying to explain what they meant, but even then it's like, man, we're at the point where if a game comes out and sells 5 million in the first 3 days, it's considered like
that's so weird.
So I don't know.
There's 2 games on the Switch that have sold 10 million out of the gate: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Zelda. That's it. Those are the only 2 games, first party games, that have sold 10 million out of the gate. There's only been 2, so it's weird if they try to start roping that into it.
Yeah, and technically Zelda is the only game that Nintendo developed that did 10 million. So it's like there's technically one from Nintendo that did that. So it's like, well,
it's very.
I don't know. It almost feels like they're just talking semantics at that point, and it's like, I don't know. Well,
it's all good.
Andy says, usually with past Nintendo Directs, the Smash DLC rosters and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are what considered as big hitters. Now they're out. Is there any game that can live up to that hype for future Directs? Metroid Prime 4. You mean one that would universally have people like I mean, the Smash reveals, it's hard to top the Smash reveals. People get really excited for those.
Yeah, Smash is a massive game. Like that game like transcends like lots of things. Like I don't know if there's going to be anything that big, but I mean, we haven't had Smash in years now. Smash finished its DLC back in 2021.
Tears of the Kingdom did have that big hype too when they showed something new or a big trailer like that.
Yeah,
some of those trailers trended millions of views in the first couple hours. It was crazy stuff. But
yeah, Tears for sure.
Maybe Metroid Prime 4, maybe, but Metroid Prime hasn't exactly proven to be a massive seller necessarily. So not on the level of basically the other games we just said. So
yeah, absolutely not.
Let's see. This is from N, who says, do you think we can ever see a remake of Jade Cocoon? I love that game on the PS1. It had really unique insect enemy designs and a cool environment to play in. Okay, who played Jade Cocoon?
I mean, I know the game. Okay. I've never played it, though. Who actually developed and published it?
That is a good question.
Genki did. And it was published by Crave and Ubisoft.
Oh. No. That sounds like one of those weird games from that generation. Like back then when they were trying everything.
Gym leader Ed in January of this year bring back this franchise.
Oh.
Jade Cocoon deserves a reboot.
Interesting.
I'm going to start calling it out at the next State of Play.
Somebody has to. Apparently. You got to help out our good friend N here from the Discord. We'll see what we can do for you.
Ed.
We'll see what we can do for you. But those are all the questions there. Did the whole direct. It's kind of an impromptu episode, as I mentioned, because there's a lot of stuff happening this weekend. But if you're around, I guess Sunday's still up, because technically it's going up Saturday. Sunday's still up, so if you're at Too Many Games, see if you can find us there. And you'll know by now if Sean actually showed up.
Hey, you will now.
This is left on the cliffhanger right now, so we'll see.
I wish I lived 3 hours away so I could easily go.
Well, it's like because once you get to the trains, because the train station's in downtown Philly, it's like a half-hour Uber from the train station to the facility. So it's like 3.5.
I almost died going to too many games last year, and you won't even take the
Because you
damn
went on
train in the Uber.
Spirit. You went on Spirit. That's
Still,
a
it's
personal decision that you made.
I gotta drive. Even if I didn't go on Spirit, I gotta drive to LA. Gotta take an hour-half drive to LA. Then I gotta board the flight all the way there. Sometimes there might be a connecting flight because I'm all the way on the other side of the country. Like,
OJ
you're
made
being
it,
incredibly lazy.
He made it
I
too.
know.
I mean, all you're gonna do is sit on the train and play games like you would at home right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nap time right now.
You could
3
sleep on the train.
No, I don't sleep.
Just
well
tell
on
people
trains.
to prod you when your stop comes up. You can sleep for a couple hours. There you go. You're good to go. Be rolling right in time for the panel to shock and awe. We'll see. We'll see. Everyone wants Sean to come out, so we're going to try to get him out there. We go around here. MVG, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G and YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. I will have a video out on Monday as always, and I'm sure Nate and I will have an episode coming out soon. So check out his channel as well.
Okay, Sean, RGT.
Find me on RGT85. Thank you to everyone who watched the video that everyone laughed at me. This video is not going to do the PS5 Pro from China. Over 100,000 views at the time of the filming of this video. Hey. And it started out slow as shit too, because I stopped looking at it, and then it just popped up for me yesterday, and I was like, "Why?"
Hey,
By the time you're watching this, I will have reviewed the Anbernic
Look at that guy.
Nano,
Look at
the
that guy.
RG Nano,
Look at that.
the world's smallest Game Boy.
Wow.
it's interesting. Yeah,
Huh.
so be on the lookout for that. King of Emulation signing out.
Okay. What about OJ?
Yeah, you can find me right here on right here on YouTube, Player Essence. Thanks to everybody who's been checking out the Spawncast pre-show and all the content. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just making more content for you guys. Got some cool RPG stuff, Final Fantasy stuff coming up, Baten Kaito stuff coming up. There's a lot of RPG stuff coming up. So yeah, check out the channel when you guys can.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you guys then.
Dream.
Bye.